Hello, hi, how are you? I trust everybody's doing great today, and I'm excited to be back here today to talk a little bit. A story of somebody who most of us are familiar with his company. His name is Walt Disney, died in 1966, based on what I found on the internet. Trust that is correct. But why am I bringing up this story today? It was somebody who broke the rules to succeed in what he believed in so much. And he was fired for lacking imagination. And why did I bring this up? You know, will you ever think the founder of Walt Disney will have ever been fired for lacking imagination? Yes, he was fired. So at times, we might go through some very tough situations in life that we can't explain where this is coming from. But, there's a purpose. So you might be fired in the very thing for which you are meant to make your greatest mark. So think about it. Or you might experience the greatest setback in life in the very thing for which you have been called to succeed greatly. So apart from Walt Disney, the founder of Disneyland, being fired, he also broke rules, conventional rules of Hollywood by combining animations plus synchronized sounds. I don't know the details of what that means. I believe those in that industry will understand what that means. So he did something different. He broke the rules of Hollywood by combining animation with synchronized sound. He risked everything to start Disneyland, and a bold idea that was mocked by many. Most people who were in the circle, who understood the business, who understood that realm, they mocked him for risking everything he had to start the Disneyland. Why? Because they felt he was breaking all the rules. He wasn't following what was normal to be done to succeed in that area. And today, what is the result of all this breaking all these rules? He broke all these rules, and today, Disneyland is helping to define the entertainment industry globally. And by the time he died in 1966, adjusted for inflation, his net worth was about $1 billion. And the company is still doing great today. Why did I go into all this story? Just to let you know that at times you might need to break the rules to succeed. Maybe not at the level of Walt Disney, and maybe at that level, and maybe even higher than that level, maybe lower than that level. But of course, in line with your own unique calling and your own unique gifts and your own unique attributes. So we are pulling today from page 41 of my book, Adapt and Advance. Again, the videos I'm making over the next couple of weeks or months will be pulled directly from this book. I'm working on the second book from which we'll put the videos later, but at least this book will last us for the next maybe a year or so before the next book is out. But page 41. So if you don't have it yet, I strongly, strongly recommend it. You can just read along with the videos, and that would be great, or whichever way you choose, and you could just listen to it. So I'm pulling from page 41, and I'm pulling from number 3, which is in the middle of the page, which is question assumptions. And there's another story there, which I will say at the end, about Bill Gates, who also questioned assumptions to be what he was. And I shared in the book my own personal story. I did 4 years of residency in psychiatry. And honestly, I've not seen anybody in residency who was able to publish as many as 12 papers research-wise, which was what I was able to do. And I had to break the rules to do that. What I mean by breaking rules is not like doing anything wrong or doing something different from what people normally did. Despite that residency was busy, despite that my program was not a research-dense program. What I mean by that is it's a program where it's not like I have an attending who has a big grant, who is like pay me to write papers or anything. No, I did it completely by thinking outside the box. Yet I was still able to have 12 papers, start new research, get 2 grants funded during my residency. You might say it's a little money. One was 15,000 plus, one was about 10,000 each. I think 2 were about 15,000 plus. Actually, about 3 of them. So the idea is, despite the rigors of residency, I was able to get all of these things done because I was able to think outside the box. Fine, I had to spend hours outside the regular work hours, etc. But eventually it got done. Content today is question assumptions, question existing assumptions. In your personal life, question assumptions. In your professional life, question assumptions. You don't have to do things exactly the way it is said to be done. And I always like to say this, it's been coming to my mind so much recently, that God gave us a brain so we can give him a rest. And I got that from Bishop David Oyedepo, the founding pastor of the church I was attending in Nigeria before I left Nigeria, Living Faith Church in Nigeria. It's a big church with so many branches in Nigeria and even in the US. He always said, God gave us a brain so we can give him a rest. So we have brains in our head so we can use it. Everything is not necessarily subject to prayers. Don't get me wrong. I believe the spiritual controls of physical and prayers is important. But at the same time, God wants us to use our brain to get the best life that he wants us to get. There are so many things God will not do for us that will allow us to take that decision for ourselves. So one thing we have to do is question assumptions. Use your brain to question assumptions and do things at times differently. Currently, I've started my job as an attending psychiatrist, and I'm not doing things exactly the way I saw anybody do it. Of course, I have the option of doing a few things and making a few changes that is unique to me and my team that I'm leading. And I'm doing that, and it's working for us. I'm getting great feedback. So I've just worked for a few weeks. So the point is, you don't have to do it exactly the way you saw somebody did it or the way you saw it done during your training. You could do something unique. Use your brain and say, okay, what worked best for me? Ask the people you are leading, the team you are working with, what is going to work best for you? And within the acceptable, of course, laws of the organization, come up with something that is unique and is different that you can use to make more progress. And if you test it and it doesn't work, iterate, test something else. We are not robots. We can change it. But if we don't test, we don't know. Call to action. So your personal call to action today is question assumptions, especially an area where you have challenges. It could be your finances, it could be your family, it could be your educational life, it could be whatever it is. It could be your corporate life or your job or profession. Question assumptions. How can I do it differently to achieve a better result? So pick one area of your life where you want to take that steps today and do it. And our corporate call to action today is the audiobook of my book, Adapt and Advance, will be launched August 1st, 2025. And I want minimum of 100 people to get the audio version in the month of August, preferably on the 1st of August. We're going to start it at the lowest possible price. So it's going to be on a promo for the first few days, which is $11.99 for the audiobook. So I want to encourage everyone to get it while we have this promo price going on before we increase it to the normal price. And that's our corporate call to action. And if you've gotten the book, you've not left a review for me, very important. Reviews help other people to find the book. Like I said, I believe this book is meant for millions, even billions of people all over the world. And my prayer every morning is the people that will benefit, the people that will read it and will produce great testimonies, I want them to find it. So one of the ways you can help me to help those people to find it is by leaving a review, or maybe getting copies for people around you that you believe will benefit from it. So my plan summary right now of everything we've talked about today: meaning making, using Viktor Frankl, the 3 main meaning making methods from his book Man's Search for Meaning. Today is creating or accomplishing something. So based on that thing that you want to work on in your personal life, let your goal be to create or achieve something that you can use to help other people. So as you make that decision of that area where you want to break the norm or break the usual rule, make sure you are creating and accomplishing something with it. A is action. We've already picked one area of our lives. For me, currently, like I told you, it's my new job where I'm working and I'm doing things. I'm testing new things. And I have specific things I'm testing that I've tested the first week. I'm testing again this week to just do things differently to achieve better results for my patients, for my residents, for students that I work with, for everybody around. Then P is planning, and I looked at what Walt Disney did. There were some things like he had a Disney planning method, he had a Disney creative strategy. So he had a plan. It didn't just happen. So you've got to get a plan to for your life. What I'm doing right now, videos, I have a plan. I don't just make videos. I have a plan how many videos I want to make per week. Currently, 2 15 minutes and 2 short 3 minute videos every week. And there's a plan, and there are days I do it, there are days I don't do it. So you've got to have all of that. And then I always like to talk about a book at this point, a book I've read that I think this Ben Carson's book on gifted hands. And the reason I picked this book specifically for today is this very short book. I think the audio took me maybe like 3 hours or so, if I'm remembering correctly. The reason I picked this one is because he also break the norms too. That surgery he did that brought him to fame, of the Siamese twin separated, it was outside of the box, and many people also felt he was not going to succeed. They thought he didn't know what he was doing. So the point is, he broke the usual norms to find a way to get that done and to help those children. So if you've not read it before, I think it's a strongly recommended book to help you to also challenge your thoughts about breaking norms. And then A is alliance formation. One of the things I tried to look up was how Walt Disney used relationship. Like he used his brother Roy, like to be a manager and manage finances for the company. He had creative partners, like collaborated with, like the animators and the imaginators and all of that. All of that, you've got to work with people. You can't do life alone. So find people that will work with you. Like the example I gave you, like personally, coming up with this the 12 papers published in over the 4 years of residency, I had a colleague who was very good with a PhD too, who publishes a lot and who is very vast at doing analysis of large data. So I had to work with him for almost the entire 4 years. We were meeting every Friday afternoons around 5 p.m. After work, we kept meeting, analyzing paper, running analysis, and writing papers. And that's how it was one of the strong. I always tell him, yeah, one of the strongest person behind me in terms of research, making me to achieve so much at this time, because that's what he does 100% of his life. I have clinical work to do to see patients, so at times it could be very hard to combine that part of my life. But having in my own life, makes it easy for me to make a lot of progress. I shout out to him right now if he's watching this video. So the point is, we need to have people like that in our lives that help us, keep us on track for the things we want to achieve. And the new one I'm doing as an attending, of course, I'm not doing it alone in the bubble. Anything new I'm testing, I'm running it by my residents. Are they okay with it? Running it by the students I work with, and even my bosses, are they okay with it? So you need to have good relationship with people for the things you want to test run. They don't all have to believe you, and they don't necessarily have to believe in what you want to do. It. You still need the help of people. So M is mission statement. I looked at the mission statement for Walt Disney, and one thing he had: entertain, inform, inspire. It's longer than that. I don't want to bore you with the extra details, but at least you need a mission statement for your own life. I always shared my own mission statement, which has 3 main components. So you need to have your own mission statement, so that helps you. And finally, P is prayers. And the Bible verse I want to talk about today is Matthew 19:20. With God, all things are possible. So think outside the box and believe it is possible. If you fail, you iterate and you change it and you make progress to the next thing. I think that's it for today. So we talked about the story of Walt Disney. We talked about the story of Bill Gates, which is actually at the end, he dropped out of Harvard to pursue his vision of personal computer in every home. And, in my book, I wrote that example in my book. I don't have the Walt Disney example on page 41, but I have the Bill Gates example there, that computers were not only meant for large institutions. He co-founded Microsoft, transforming the tech industry. And my own story about my residency, publishing 12 papers, getting at least 2 grants and all that is also on page 41 in the book. Get it, read more, and continue to grow. Let's continue to adapt and advance together. Share this video with somebody that will benefit from it, and make sure that we keep the vision going. Let's keep going. Currently, we're on 500 plus in sales. We are currently on 160 plus in reviews. So we need to keep growing so that we keep getting the book into the hands of those that will benefit from it. I believe we have not even started in terms of the vision God gave me for the book, Adapt and Advance. So I need your help to keep getting it by 1, writing your reviews, 2, getting it for those who need it, so that more people can keep finding it and keep having the testimonies I believe God wants them to have as they read it. Thank you so much. I believe in you. Thank you so much for watching my videos. Thanks so much for reading the book. Thank you so much for reading the newsletters. I'm so grateful to everyone. Bye.